Now on Nightside, today is Juneteenth, the holiday marking the end of slavery, how people celebrate in Grant Park.
For the first time this month, temperatures drop below average tomorrow, and it's only the beginning of a cool, showery weekend in the first alert forecast.
And today was Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Sports reporter Sydney Berger joining us in just a few minutes with the highlights. You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. Thanks for staying up with us here tonight. I'm Jordan Smith in for Derek Dice tonight. Today does mark Juneteenth, a celebration of freedom and commemoration of the emancipation of slavery here in the United States. Here in Spokane, dozens gathered at Grant Park to honor, reflect, and celebrate the significance of this day. The park was lined with booths from the local NAACP leaders to legal resources and organizations promoting diversity and inclusion. There was live music, food, and bounce houses for the kids. For many families, the event was also a chance to educate the next generation about this important day in American history.
It's a day that we can celebrate and recognize that no more bondage, no more slave, no more chains. And so for me and my family, it's just important that I keep that heritage going and keep that knowledge embedded into their lives.
And there are other Juneteenth events scheduled in our community for this weekend. For more information about those, you can visit our website at kxly.com. And while there are plenty of Juneteenth celebrations going on throughout the weekend here in the Inland Northwest, nationally, some celebrations are being scaled back or canceled completely. CNN's Lee Waldman shares with us why.
In the trying political times we have in the United States today, right, it's important for all of us to understand that history.
The city of Milwaukee, home to one of the nation's longest-running Juneteenth Day celebrations, kicked off its festivities Wednesday.
Happy Juneteenth!
Juneteenth shows us the way that we should celebrate freedom.
However, communities across the country are canceling or reducing their celebrations because of federal rollbacks on DEI practices and opposition to events celebrating diversity. Robert Bland, an assistant professor of history and Africana studies at the University of Tennessee, says these types of decisions are a part of our nation's history of progressing forward and then taking steps backward.
Obviously, this is deeply connected to our current political moment, and we kind of see the reversal in a number of ways of the gains that kind of came out of the George Floyd protest.
In West Virginia, Republican Governor Patrick Morrisey says state employees will not have a paid day off for the federal holiday, citing financial reasons. In a statement, the American Civil Liberties Union of West Virginia says Morrisey's decision is, quote, just another opportunity to show how little he understands or cares about racism.
Sometimes it is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but then you continue the struggle. You continue fighting for history, fighting for rights, fighting for justice for everybody.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Sports reporter Sydney Berger joined us here at the desk to talk about Game 6 of the NBA Finals that happened earlier tonight here on ABC.
Yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, for lack of a better term, we were saying kind of fumbled the bag to win their championship title in Game 6. They still obviously have a chance in Game 7, but now they have a much more confident Indiana Pacers team that's getting a shot for the title as well. Things did start out pretty hot with former Zag Andrew Nembhard. Just in the first quarter, he hits 2 triples. Tyrese Halliburton finding him right there in the corner for 3. Nembhard's back-to-back 3-pointers contributed to the massive 22-7 run the Pacers had in just the first quarter, and the explosion on offense continued throughout the first half. Pascal Siakam put the exclamation point right there on the half with that buzzer beater. It lets the Pacers go up 22 points heading into that back half of the game. And if you're OKC at this point, that large of a deficit is a tough halftime conversation. We really didn't see too many adjustments from the Thunder. Fourth quarter actually lets Tyrese Halliburton get some rest for the night along with Nembhard and a couple of other starters. So the series is on the way to Oklahoma for Game 7. The final score tonight, 108-91.
The way I see it is we suck tonight. We have to learn the lessons. And we have one game for everything we've worked for. And so do they. And the better team Sunday will win.
Well, it will be the first title in franchise history for both teams, so whichever one comes out, going to make a little bit of history there. The last time the NBA Finals series went to a Game 7 was 2016 with the Cavs and the Warriors. 9 years later, we're seeing a full series for that championship title. Again, the finals wrap up right here on KXLY with tip-off at 5 o'clock, and Jordan and I will see you after the game on a special edition of 4 News Now on Sunday night. Jordan? Yeah,
we are looking forward to that. Two Zags battling it out in Game 7. It doesn't get better than that. Well, a state funding push in Idaho hopes to keep more children from entering the foster care system. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare is getting what it calls their largest budget increase in history. And the focus of it is on preventative care. The department is hiring 63 new positions. 35 are prevention workers, 10 of which are in North Idaho. For organizations that work closely with the department, this hiring effort is coming at a critical time.
The prevention piece is so important, and if our social workers are completely bogged down with current cases, who can do the prevention work? So that is a really important move.
DHW says it believes this will have an enormous impact on the community by keeping more families together while ensuring children in foster care receive the resources they need. The Caritas Food Bank is open and it's expanding its capacity thanks to the work of the Extreme team. Caritas says it's able to serve more than 40 families per day in its newly remodeled space. It says the demand for food banks is rising because many people are unemployed or underemployed. It hopes to be a resource to help people get back on their feet.
There is a huge need. We've seen our numbers more than double over the last couple of years. You know, when I first started volunteering 5 years ago, if we had 18 families, that was a big day.
And the food bank says its only limit right now is how many volunteers it can bring in to help its clients. Hilliard is working to reintroduce itself as a creative district. It's doing that by starting an art walk featuring 12 pop-up galleries and 4 live musicians. The event is a part of a larger effort to designate Hilliard as a creative district, as status held by 20 other Washington communities.
So it really puts Hilliard on all of these maps, and you can imagine when people come to Spokane, this becomes part of the destination.
The Creative District designation would bring state support for tourism, help artists establish themselves in the community, and would boost the local economy. Organizers say the initiative will preserve Hilliard's historic character while attracting new visitors and businesses to the area. Hilliard hopes to gain this distinction by August. And the weather today was just perfect for a walk out through Hilliard. Check out some art out there today, Chris.
It certainly was. We are going to start to see some changes, and they happen starting tomorrow. 4 things to know about your weather. That cool down starts tomorrow. Possible showers tomorrow. It's looking more and more likely. We'll at least see a little bit of rain around the region. A cool and showery weekend, and then the 80s and the sunshine will be back next week. On our satellite and radar right now, we've had these clouds streaming up throughout the day and are just starting to see a little bit of shower and isolated thunderstorm activity working into the portions of the LC Valley and getting close to the southern panhandle. Those are going to be moving off to the north and east. Our forecast radar shows most of that wet weather tomorrow. Here's 4 a.m. is going to be confined to the LC Valley, the Idaho Palouse, and the central panhandle, with the heavier precipitation further to the east. While we're dry in Spokane until we get later in the day. Here's noon with that chance of rain showers in parts of Idaho, and then we will continue to see some hit and miss showers with breezy conditions as well, particularly in the morning and early afternoon. 25-mile-per-hour gusts and chilly, well, cool. A high of 68 compares to an average high of 74. I'll be back with a 10-degree-plus drop in your weekend forecast in just a few minutes, Jordan.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris. A man was detained today after Spokane police responded to a call of a reported court order violation. The Spokane Police Department said SWAT responded to a call in the Logan neighborhood. After receiving information, the man refused to leave his residence. According to SPD, negotiators established phone contact with that man, who then surrendered peacefully and was detained without incident. The suspect's name has not been released yet, and the incident does remain under investigation. Around the U.S., in Washington, D.C. today, after days of high-level talks behind closed doors, President Trump says there is a 2-week window to decide if America will launch strikes against Iran. ABC's Zareen Shah has the details.
Tonight, tension at a breaking point. As Israel and Iran exchange fire, President Trump now says a decision is coming, and soon.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
Is he saying that if Iran does not come back to the negotiating table within the next 2 weeks, that the president will strike?
The president is saying that he will make a decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. It's very clear and direct.
Sources tell ABC News the president has now met with his national security team for 3 straight days in the Situation Room. The White House warning tonight Iran has what it needs to make a nuclear weapon, and that a decision just needs to come from its supreme leader, adding that it could take just a couple weeks to complete production. But there's currently no evidence to support those claims. One U.S. intelligence official telling ABC the decision also hinges on the timing of U.S. military reinforcements, with key naval forces still days away from the region. And now, pressure from within. The president reportedly wrestling with division inside his own party. One aide describing him as trying to psych himself up, needing to convince himself that whatever move he makes is justified. Today, a familiar face at the White House, former Trump administration chief strategist Steve Bannon. He's said to be urging caution. And while the president stalls, Israel's prime minister appears to grow anxious.
President Trump will do what's best for America. I trust his judgment.
All this coming as European leaders are set to meet tomorrow in Geneva, the first time they will be coming together in person since the conflict in Iran and Israel escalated. Zareen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Closer to home here next on Nightside. If you work for a local charity, how you can apply to be the charity of choice for Bloomsday, and the tips experts have here coming up to stop impulse buying.
And I have a beautiful pick of the night to share with you tonight from our friend Ron Burdick. Purple, my favorite color, clematis growing beautifully in the sunshine. And I know all the area flowers are looking forward to some wet weather. I'll be back to tell you about it after the break.
Watch tonight, I promise you won't see me for months. So your bald spot is now on a hard drive. It exists
somewhere. Yeah. When I die, my bald spot will live on.
Connect with 4 News Now on KXLY+.
4 News Now is brought to you by R&R RV.
The old me was stuck in the daily grind. My routine didn't allow for any self-expression. I found clay, and that changed everything. I realized my calling was to give others the space to be creative, to build something. And that's how Clay Room was born. Having a Chase Ink card has allowed us to grow it and bring people together. There's a creative side in all of us. That's what I hope people come here to find.
Earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials with the Chase Ink Business Cash Card from Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability and commanding style. From the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Right now, you can get a 2.99% APR on a 2025 Pilot.
After a car wreck, the longer you wait, the harder it can be to get what you deserve.
After my recent accident, I called Craig Swap and Associates. They treated me fairly every step of the way.
One call, that's all.
Call the 9s, 509-999-9999.
New tonight after the finals.
Fans are going nuts. I do want to say this to the folks in Indianapolis and Oklahoma City. If you win, be careful. Don't go too crazy. The president will send in the National Guard.
With Seth Rogen, Rami Youssef, and Big Time Rush. New Kimmel tonight on ABC.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Get employee pricing plus 1.9% and $4,500 bonus cash on a 2024 Ford F-150 STX. Only at your local Ford dealer.
Book your stay and play getaway today at Mississauga.com.
Welcome back to Nightside. The Lilac Blooms Day Association is now accepting applications for the 2026 Charity of Choice. This initiative gives Spokane area nonprofits a unique opportunity to raise awareness, generate donations, and connect with the tens of thousands of Blooms Day participants. Applications should include a brief history of the organization, its mission, and how being selected as the Charity of Choice would benefit the organization. The deadline to apply is Thursday, July 31st, and a final decision is expected to be made in October. Blooms Day 2026, which is the 50th running of Blooms Day, is set to take place May 3rd. And if you can't wait until 2026 for your next run, you can sign up for the first ever Color Fun Run at North Idaho College. On August 23rd, participants can run or walk their way through a course where they'll be doused in washable colored cornstarch powder. Registration is free for NIC students and $20 for everyone else. Signing up gets you a t-shirt, bandana, and some sunglasses. The race itself will be untimed, and when it's all over, there will be an after party with a live DJ and some food trucks. You can find all the information to register here on our website, KXLY.com. That sounds like an awesome time, unlike any race I've been a part of myself, Chris.
I've seen pictures online of people who've done it, and it looks like fun.
It does look like a blast.
You would have all your color washed off by the rain if it were this weekend, as we do have some rain and cooler temperatures, something we have not had much of at all, none, in fact, this month. Here, this is the whole calendar so far. The gray dates are dates where the temperature was right about average, most of the 70s. The above average temperatures in the gold, lots of those, and those two red dates are record highs set just over a week ago, 94 and 92. Below average dates show up in blue, and we're about to add 3 of those to the calendar. Now today, temperatures around the region in the comfort zone, 70s for just about everybody, which I never get complaints about the 70s. Seems to make everybody happy. Tomorrow we are going to be cooler, temperatures below average, but 68 in Spokane, still very pleasant, 66 in Coeur d'Alene, 67 in Sandpoint, and plenty of 70s on the map from Omak down through Moses Lake, and of course Lewiston at 74, and even right around the Spokane area, 71 in Meade, as well as 9 Mile, downtown, 70 in Spokane Valley and Deer Park. We won't be in the 70s for long, though. We're dropping into the 50s on Saturday. It's been a while since we've been anywhere near that territory. And then we will start warming up just as fast as we cool down. We're heading up back into the 80s, 30-degree climb between Saturday and Wednesday. This brief cool down and chance to get some precipitation is all a part of this area of low pressure we've been tracking this week, dropping out of the Gulf of Alaska. We are going to see bands of showers circulating around this area of low pressure starting tomorrow and continuing really through Monday. It's going to have some influence on our weather, and timing those showers is tricky. So please check back and keep your 4 News Now First Alert weather app handy, and that will be the best way to make sure that you stay dry. That radar is fantastic on the app, but there is a very good chance of rain Saturday and Sunday, 40% chance on Monday, and then we're drying out on Tuesday. This is the latest thinking on the amount of precipitation expected with those 5 days through Tuesday, and some very impressive precipitation totals, especially as we get into western Montana up along the border. So we're very hopeful that we'll get some beneficial rains going starting tomorrow and continuing through Monday. Overnight lows down in the 40s, some great sleeping weather. And if you do prefer the warm, sunny weather, that will be back in the forecast before you know it. Tuesday, 82 and sunny, Jordan.
Something for everybody this week, Chris.
Yes, indeed.
Well, for your money tonight, we're all guilty of those impulse purchases. According to a survey from Bankrate in March, 16% of Americans say they make them monthly. Purchases like these include buying clothing from an influencer on social media, for example, or buying things from the grocery store that aren't on your list. So what can you do to stop yourself from making purchases like these? One expert says, create a budget and stick to it.
There are so many good budgeting apps out there. If you have a certain spend limit in mind, that can help you when it comes to making that purchase or not. You can think about the limit that you set for yourself that month.
Another helpful tip is if you see something that you really want, wait at least 24 hours before buying it.
You can even add it to your cart, but give it a full day, sleep on it, think about it, look in your closet and see whether you already have it before you make that purchase.
You could also try the no buy challenge, and that's where you don't make any discretionary purchases for a month. 4th of July is right around the corner, and fireworks dealers say that while this year prices shouldn't be an issue for people, but next year could be, and that's because of the tariffs. It's expected near year for fireworks dealers to evaluate prices at different locations so they can try and find the best deal. Currently, more than 96% of fireworks in the U.S. are currently imported from China, and last year that amounted to more than $450 million worth. Still ahead here, how state patrols are working to keep the roads safer this weekend in Grant County. A story coming up next on Nightside.
Later tonight on Nightline, while Karen Reed walks free, key players in her murder trial speaking out in an ABC News exclusive with never before heard details. Plus, Eric Dane, the Grey's Anatomy star, opening up for the first time about his ALS diagnosis.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
When you call the advocates, you'll see right away. We don't fiddle around.
We don't waste time.
Don't dilly-dally.
We don't burn daylight.
Because this isn't our first rodeo.
Or a second.
We know the ropes.
Bent the dance.
We've been down this road.
We know the score.
We've been there.
Got the t-shirt.
Done it all.
Seen it all.
Which means the advocates is the place to call for your injury case. We'll fight to get you the most.
And don't dilly-dally.
Don't start that again. Injured? You deserve an advocate.
Looks like we made it! Bearing Manilow. The last Spokane concert. Bearing Manilow. See him performing all the hits for one night only at Spokane Arena Friday, July 11th. Get tickets now at ticketswest.com.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on our next job. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXLY.com to nominate it. Our thanks to Horizon Credit Union for sponsoring the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own a legend. Toyota Trucks. Toyota has the best resale value of all brands according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Expect even more from KXLY Plus. Live updates from the 4 News Now team. Breaking news as it happens. Weather every 10 minutes. Stay connected for free with 4 News Now on KXLY Plus.
4 News Now is brought to you by Jacobs Custom Living.
People in Grant County should be aware that starting tomorrow and lasting through the weekends, the Washington State Patrol will be conducting high visibility enforcement patrols. Their focus will be stopping drivers who are showing signs of unsafe behavior like speeding, aggressive driving, or potentially impaired driving. WSP said it will also be on the lookout for people using electronic devices while they're driving and people not wearing their seatbelts. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office is hosting a free community barbecue this Saturday. It'll take place at the Silver Lake Mall, and there will be some fun events that will feature the K-9 team and educational events like CPR demos. There's free food, a vendor fair, and more. That barbecue starts at 10 a.m. and will last until 2 p.m. And now for our top trending stories here on KXLY.com. At number 3, Spokane Police and Sacred Heart Medical Center are teaming up to teach officers on how to draw blood. This will help in officers' DUI investigations. SPD says it hopes to have 20 officers capable of doing blood draws by 2026. At number 2, the Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador dismissing the lawsuit against the Idaho State Board of Education now that the University of Idaho plans to purchase the University of Phoenix have been canceled. And at number 1, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is asking for help finding a 16-year-old Spokane girl. Elizabeth Stalcup was last seen leaving school on June 13th. If you believe that you've seen Elizabeth, call the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. You can find each of these stories on our website at KXLY.com. The big week for basketball will continue. Game 7 of the NBA Finals is on Sunday, and then just 3 days later, the NBA draft, Sydney.
Yeah, we actually can expect a couple of local players to hear their name called from both Washington State and, of course, Gonzaga. Coming up next in sports, I'll tell you why one local player has a pretty good shot at going in the first round.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Parker Subaru.
It's time to party!
Monday, July 7th.
And now we're in the jungle.
Ready to find some love. Let's dance, Paradise.
Paradise is back.
Good things are coming.
New beach.
Viva la Costa Rica!
New challenges. And here come the Goldens.
Oh, look, I got my inner knees done. They're reformed.
Bachelor in Paradise premieres July 7th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
It's our endless summer savings sales event where new Sierra 2500s come with $5,500 off MSRP or 3.95% APR. There's never any dealer-added markups on new vehicles. And ask us about our 3-day return and 7-day exchange at GMC of Riverfront Park.
Global Credit Union serves the men and women of our armed forces stationed around the world. We're proud to honor our military members by wearing red on Friday.
Red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed, and 4 News Now and Global Credit Union are inviting you to wear red on Fridays too.
Show your support for the men and women of our armed forces.
Tell them and their families thank you for their service and for protecting our future. Stop by any Global branch and pick up a red pin.
And then remember to wear red every Friday from now until September 11th.
Watch your mailbox. Banner Furnace and Fuel's anniversary sale is on now with thousands of dollars of home comfort savings, big furnace and air conditioning rebates, home comfort system service specials, even Guardian maintenance plan incentives that save you money and provide peace of mind. If you didn't get the new Banner Furnace and Fuel anniversary savings mailer, call today and we'll send one right out. Banner Furnace and Fuel, keeping families comfortable for over 100 years.
It's our endless summer savings sales event where you'll find new Sierra 1500s with savings up to $14,500 off MSRP. There's never any dealer-added markups on new vehicles. And ask us about our 3-day return and 7-day exchange at GMC of Riverfront Park.
Hey, well, if any team is coming up absolutely clutch and forcing a Game 7, it's the Indiana Pacers, and that's their story for their entire postseason run so far. Their star, Tyrese Halliburton, has been known for game-winning shots and big plays, but the game didn't need any last-minute heroics tonight. In fact, we didn't even need to see Halliburton or Andrew Nembhard or most of the Pacers starters in the fourth quarter. That's how large of a lead the Pacers had on OKC. At one point, it was a 31-point lead and really a point point of no return for the Thunder. One thing Indiana struggled with last game in Game 5 was their turnovers. It was quite the opposite stats for them in Game 6, just 9 turnovers compared to OKC's 21. Nembhard had himself a night, 17 points and 4 assists, and 6 Pacers scored in double digits in the 108-91 win.
One game, you know, it's nothing that's happened before matters, you know, and nothing that's going to happen after matters. You know, it's all about that one game. So just trying to approach it the right way, you know, for the next couple days. It's going to be, you know, the narratives are going to be almost poison, you know, to talk about what this would mean to our city and our organization and legacy talk, and we played so well and now the pressure's on. Like, it's going to, you know what I mean? There's going to be, you know, narratives that we can't really pay attention to.
Well, Halliburton is also focused on getting healthy before Sunday after playing with a lower leg injury tonight. But like he said, just one game left to leave it all out there, and a champion will be crowned on Sunday with tip-off at 5 o'clock. And the next round of NBA stars will hear their names called in the next week's NBA draft. One of those stars is pretty much guaranteed to be former Coug and Eastern Washington Eagle Cedric Coward. Today, it was reported that Coward has actually earned a draft green room invite. It's usually given to athletes that are expected to be drafted, and it usually means that they'll be in the building on draft night, and could very well mean he might find himself drafted in the first round. Coward would be the first Coug to go in the first round since Klay Thompson when he went 11th overall in 2011. And it also could turn out to be a pretty good week for the Nembhard family. Of course, if Andrew Nembhard and the Pacers win the NBA championship, and if Ryan Nembhard hears his name called on draft night. The point guard was the single-season assist leader, as well as leading the entire country in assists during the regular season last year with Gonzaga. Ryan is projected to be a late second-round pick, going anywhere from 47th to the last pick of the draft, which is 59th. But he is on plenty of mock draft boards, so it's a good sign for him as well. With the Seattle Kraken hiring a new head coach a few weeks ago, it's time for them to bring in some talent on the ice. Today, the team announced they traded future draft picks for Dallas Stars right winger Mason Marchment. He had 22 goals and 25 assists last season with the Stars. And he also brings a lot of postseason experience, which is going to be helpful, of course, when the Kraken can get to the postseason. But Marchment has played in 59 Stanley Cup playoff games, and he is a nice veteran add for the Kraken. The Spokane Indians have just been trying to hold their own against the Everett AquaSox, but they are one of the top teams in the league, and the AquaSox definitely showed why they are a force. Everett has won the first 3 games of the series, including tonight, and now the Indians are on a 9-game losing streak. This one picks up tomorrow at 6:35. Hopefully some positivity over there. But
they're looking like they're big brothers out in Denver. They need to turn this around, Sid.
The Rockies are doing better than the Indians, which I didn't think I would say this season.
This entire summer? Yeah, 4-game win streak.
You know, yeah, actually, I was gonna bring some positivity in there. The Rockies, maybe we flip it. Like, the Rockies do good for a bit, and then the Indians get another time.
Yeah, they just take turns.
In the fam.
Right, yeah. It makes you celebrate those small win streaks there. Okay, Chris is coming back with weather. We'll see you in just a few.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Great philosopher Socrates once said, "To find yourself, think for yourself." Great philosopher Arby's once said, "Here's some Greek euros, 2 for $7. Arby's, we have the meats.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. A heartbeat strong, steady, unwavering, like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. In every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
Now, get $4,250 total customer cash, plus $2,250 in trade assistance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Summer is here in the Pacific Northwest, and it's set to be a scorcher. But why suffer through another season of sweltering heat and box fans? Call the experts at Bill's Heating and AC. With a lowest price guarantee, free second opinions, and a warehouse full of top quality equipment, we're ready to make your summer comfortable without breaking the bank. Technicians are on standby. Call for your free quote today.
Okay, y'all, we got 10 orders coming in.
Starting a business is never easy, but starting at 8 months pregnant, that's a different story. I couldn't slow down. We were starting a business from the ground up. People were showing up left and right, and so did our business needs. The Chase e-card made it easy. When you go for something big like this, your kids see that, and they believe they can do the same.
Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase with the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card from Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours.
When Arby's says euros, you say 2 for $7. Euros. 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 Louder. Arby's. We have the meats.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
We came back to say goodbye. Sydney has a really important goodbye, though.
Oh, please.
What was your message?
Goodbye, everyone.